prayer this afternoon is the Lord's Prayer. Please recite the prayer with me if you wish. Shall we bow our heads in prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. The kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Honorable members, please be seated. Secretary General.
Confirmation of minutes.
I now call on the Leader of the Government in Parliament, the Honorable Philippe Thuissoau, to move his motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the minutes of the sitting of Parliament held on Monday, 1st December 2025, as previously circulated, be taken as read and be confirmed.
Who is a seconder?
Honorable Speaker, I second the motion.
Banivalu. The Parliament will now vote on the motion. The question is that the minutes of the sitting of Parliament held on Monday, the 1st of December 2025, as previously circulated, be taken as read and be confirmed. Does any member oppose the motion? No member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Communications from the Chair.
Honourable members, I am pleased to welcome you back to today's sitting as we unite in the pursuit of our nation's progress. I also extend a warm welcome to those joining us in the public gallery and to everyone watching the live broadcast, whether you are tuned in via television or streaming online. Thank you for staying connected and engaged. Honourable members, please join me in warmly welcoming the executives of the USP Bannerman Students Association who are here with us. On behalf of the honourable members, I warmly welcome you all to our Parliament, to your Parliament, and I hope that this visit will expand your understanding of how the Parliament works and provide significant awareness of the vital role that Parliament plays in determining and safeguarding our democracy. Finally, and I promise that I will not mention Kamara again after this, but to round off the tour of the children of Kamara District School, they have all safely arrived back, I'm happy to report, on the shores of our island home at lunch today. But there is preparation of food, I'm told, for a feast and merrymaking to celebrate our sole gold medal they brought home in the practice. Thank you, honourable members. We will proceed to the next item on the order paper. The Secretary General.
Motion in the name of the Honourable Leader of the Government in Parliament.
I now call on the Leader of the Government in Parliament, the Honourable Philippe Thuissoau, to move his motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move that Parliament adopts the sitting calendar for the year 2026.
Is there a seconder?
Honorable Speaker, I second the motion.
Honourable Banivalu. I now call on the Leader of the Government in Parliament to speak on the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. As all honourable members are aware, Standing Order 2022, Clause 1 provides that the Business Committee must suggest to Parliament a programme of sitting periods for each session of Parliament, for each 12-month sitting period of Parliament, whichever is the shorter. And Clause 2 further states that the approved programme shall be given to Parliament no later than the third sitting day of the session. In that respect, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Business Committee convened and undertook discussions on the proposed sitting calendar for year 2026. I can confirm that the Business Committee agreed and approved the sitting calendar for the year 2026, which was circulated to all honorable members. Whilst the Business Committee had agreed and approved the sitting calendar, the Business Committee had also further agreed that should there have been an imminent need to readjust some of the sittings, then that this should be subsequently be tabled in Parliament to allow some flexibility. At this juncture, Mr. Speaker, I need to put on record that there were no objections during the preliminary discussions from the members of the Business Committee. It was unanimously agreed to. I beg the understanding of all honourable members to adopt the proposed sitting calendar. For the benefit of all honourable members as well as the general public at large, the endorsed sitting calendar outlines the following sitting periods: February, Monday, 16, 2026, official opening. March 9 to 13, Parliament sitting, debate on His Excellency's address. April 27 to 1st May, Parliament sitting. 24th May to 28th May, Parliament sitting. June, 26th June, Parliament sitting, budget address. Monday 6 to 10 July, budget debate. Monday 17 to 21st August, Parliament sitting. Monday 28th September to Friday 2nd October, Parliament sitting. Monday 2nd November to Friday 6th December, Parliament sitting. So as is now the ongoing practice, the dates for the budget address and subsequent budget debate are confirmed for 1 week in June, July, as has been the practice in previous years. But we request flexibility in case there may be changes in that area as well. The sitting calendar will allow all the 6 standing committees to continue with their committee work on the annual reports that are currently pending with the committees and bills that have been moved, and some that may be moved later this week in this House for consideration. It is for this reason that all honourable members are requested to support the proposed calendar. It is vital to emphasize that the work of the committees and significant mechanisms in place related to the committees reach out to members of the public. These are important instruments for accountability and examination. We are making ways into how we need to work for the people in the country to try and better our services and be able to allow us as the government to execute and implement its plans, policies and programs, while the standing committees have to continue to undertake and discharge their functions mandated in the standing orders and, of course, the Constitution. I urge honourable members to support the sitting calendar before you. In conclusion, given the salient points I put to the House, I recommend the sitting calendar as proposed to the House.
Yeah, thank the Honourable Rofli Bethusawa, the Leader of Government in Parliament. Honourable members, the floor is now open for debate on the motion. Are there any? I don't see any, so I'll call on the Leader of the Government to speak in reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I thank the Honourable House for the support for the sitting calendar in front of us.
Thank you. So the Parliament will now vote. The question is that Parliament adopts the sitting calendar for the year 2026. Does any member oppose the motion? As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Motion pursuant to Standing Order 130.
You are now call on the Minister for Justice and the Acting Attorney, the Honourable Shiromi Turanga, to move his motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and Defence review the agreement to establish the Pacific Resilience Facility.
Is there a seconder?
Speaker, I beg to second the motion.
All Leader of the Government in Parliament. Second. Honourable members, the The Honorable Acting Attorney has moved a motion to refer the treaty to the Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and Defense. I can confirm that the Honorable Acting Attorney has provided me with copies of the treaty and written analysis as required by Standing Order 130, Clause 2. Therefore, pursuant to Standing Order 130, Clause 3, the treaty and analysis stand referred to the Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and Defense for consideration and review. The committee may table a report to Parliament not later than 30 days from today. Thank you, honourable members. We will now proceed to the next item on the order paper. Secretary General.
Motions for which notice has been given.
Honourable members, please kindly note that there will be 6 motions for debate today. First call on the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs, the Honourable Ilyas Vanawalu, to move the first motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I move that Parliament debates the consolidated review reports, the 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2022 to 2023 Consumer Council of Fiji's annual report was tabled on November 2025.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Honorable Speaker, sir, I second the motion.
Honourable Viampile. I now invite the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs to speak on his motion.
Honorable Speaker, sir, the Social Affairs Committee noted that Consumer Council of Fiji is a statutory body established under the Consumer Council Act of 1976, Cap 235. The Council protected the rights and the interests of consumers by promoting fair and just delivery of food and service. Further, the Council is an advocacy organization conducting rigorous research and policy analysis on key consumer issues. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Committee on its deliberation highlighted the following recommendation. 1, the committee recommends that the Council continue to conduct timely job evaluation exercises to avoid repeating the problem of high staff turnover. 2, the committee recommends that the Council continue to explore MOU with other agencies to speed up the resolution of consumer complaints. 3, the committee recommends that the Council continue strengthening its various awareness campaigns. 4, the committee recommends that the Council works closely with the Municipality Health Division to address unhygienic practices among the restaurant operators. 5, the committee recommends that the Council must identify the root cause of the problem that reoccur every year and venture into establishment of a fusion center for those close collaboration with relevant consumer agencies. 6, the committee recommends that the Council strengthen its own capacity to handle online scammers and fraudsters. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee noted that the Consumer Council of Fiji strategic priority areas are aligned with the national development priorities and the relevant sustainable development goals. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, sir, Social Affairs Committee look forward for the implementation and commitments on the recommendation put forward by the committee. On that note, Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you for the opportunity.
I thank Chairperson for the Social Affairs Standing Committee. I will, honourable members, open the floor for debate on the motion. I have a list of speakers with me, and at the end of the speech of the speaker's intervention, I'll ask the mover for his right of reply. Please note that there will be 5 minutes for each of the speakers that will be called upon. I first call on the Minister of Finance, the Honourable Esrom Emmanuel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge the work done by the Standing Committee in reviewing the annual reports 2019-20, 21 to 22, and 22 to 23. Most importantly, I wish to thank the board and management of the Consumer Council for their unwavering dedication and tireless efforts in championing the rights and welfare of Fijian consumers. Mr. Speaker, sir, during the pandemic, the Council stepped up by providing clear information about consumer rights, tackling issues such as price gouging, and ensuring essential goods remain viable and available. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to highlight some major reforms and achievements that were undertaken during this reporting period that supports the recommendations of the committee. One, the digital transformation. The Council focused on digital transformation with a new complaints management system, mobile app, upgraded ICT infrastructure, and enhanced use of National Consumer Helpline. This ensured that consumers would lodge and track complaints remotely, even taking the services to the consumer's doorstep. Second is modernization. With the support of UNCDF, the Council revamped its website to provide enhanced user experience and digital engagement. Third is policy development. Council drafted the National Policy on Maritime Travelers' Rights, signed an MOU with LTA to improve coordination on transport-related complaints and enforcement. For this consumer advocacy, staff worked tirelessly to assist consumers to obtain moratorium or debt restructure, as most people did not have an income to meet their repayments during the pandemic period. And fifth, launch of 2023-28 strategic plan. That is to forge new partnership with Vodafone Fiji Limited and FCCC to enhance consumer outreach, digital literacy, business compliance with consumer protection standards as well. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to acknowledge the Council for their tireless effort in addressing the e-ticketing problems raised by consumers with Vodafone through the ticketing task force. I wish to inform this August House that the Consumer Council of Fiji has been able to lobby for the balances in the lost e-ticket cards to be transferred to the consumer's new card. To date, the Council is the Secretariat of the Anti-Scam Task Force, chaired by the Ministry of Commerce and Business Development. An Anti-Scam Awareness Week was held successfully from 6 to 7 October to educate and safeguard people from scammers and fraudsters. The Council is also working with UNCDF in drafting a scam legislation which aims to strengthen consumer protection against fraudulent schemes and deceptive practices. This legislation will provide clear legal frameworks for identifying, reporting, and penalizing scammers, thereby enhancing consumer confidence and safety in the marketplace. We are also progressing with the review of the Consumer Credit Act to strengthen regulatory oversight, protect consumers from predatory lending practices, and ensure that credit services in Fiji are transparent, fair, and responsibly managed. In closing, Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to reiterate my sincere appreciation for the Consumer Council of Fiji's tireless efforts and important achievements over these challenging years. From navigating the pandemic with innovative digital solutions to championing vital consumer protections and policy reforms. The Council has proven its vital role in safeguarding the interest of every Fijian. Thank you, and Mr. Speaker, sir.
I thank the Minister, the Honourable Emmanuel. I next call on the Honourable Craig Lamsau.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, sir. I rise to contribute to the debate on the consolidated report of the Consumer Council of Fiji Annual Reports covering the years 2019 to 2023. Honourable Speaker, I wish to thank the Chair and the members of the Social Affairs Standing Committee for the report. This report is not merely a reflection of past activities,
It is a roadmap for strengthening consumer protection in our nation. Honorable Speakers, allow me to highlight 3 recommendations that I believe are critical for advancing the Council's mission and for safeguarding the rights of our people. First, the recommendation on staff training and developments. The committee has rightly urged the Council to continue to invest in staff training, particularly through donor-funded initiatives such as the Pacific Inclusion Financial Program. Consumer protection is a specialized field. It requires staff who are not only technical competent, but also resilient in the face of emerging challenges such as digital scams and complex financial disputes. By equipping our officers in the right skills, we ensure that every Fijian, whether in Suva, Lautoka, or Mombasa, receives timely, professional, and effective assistance. A well-trained workforce is the backbone of a credible consumer institution. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, a recommendation to strengthen awareness campaigns. The report makes it clear consumer complaints often arise from recurring issues, unhygienic practices in restaurants, disputes between landlords and tenants, and confusion over VAT. These problems persist because many consumers remain unaware of their rights and responsibilities. Awareness is prevention, and a strong, consistent campaign across media, schools, and communities will empower citizens to make informed decisions and reduce the burdens of complaints. In an era of digital scam and misinformation, awareness is not optional, but it is essential. That recommendation, Honorable Speaker, is Consumer Vision Center. The proposal is visionary. It recognizes the Council alone cannot enforce consumer rights. It must work hand in hand with agencies such as FCCC, the Ministry of Health, and municipal authorities. A fusion center would bring this agency under one roof, creating a one-stop shop for consumers. Imagine the efficiency. A citizen walks in with a complaint, and instead of being referred from one office to another, the matter is resolved collaboratively and swiftly. This is the kind of innovation that restores public confidence in institutions and demonstrate that government is responsible to the needs of its people. Honorable Speaker, sir, these recommendations, staff training, awareness campaigns, and the Fusion Center are not abstract ideas. They are practical measures that will directly improve the lives of ordinary Fijians. They will build a stronger council, a more informed public, and a more coordinated system of consumer protection. I therefore commend the committee for its work and urge that these recommendations be implemented with urgency and commitment. Let us ensure that consumer rights are not just words on paper, but live realities for every household in Fiji. And I thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir.
I thank the Honorable Kurilov Sau. I now call on the Honorable Manoa Kamkameda.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I rise to contribute to the consolidated review reports for the Consumer Council of Fiji from 2019 to 2023, Honorable Speaker. And of course, share my thoughts on the report, and more particularly some of the more contemporary, impactful contributions that the Consumer Council has made in terms of customer or consumer advocacy. Honorable Speaker, it has been an absolute pleasure to work with the Consumer Council, Honorable Speaker, whilst I was in the role as Minister, because the level of monitoring that they do to understand the issues that are in the country is quite extensive. And I have always been thoroughly impressed with the work that they carry out. There's only about 20 plus of them, 28 I think, and they do a lot of very good work, Honorable Speaker. I do note, Honorable Speaker, that the 2020-2021 annual report was not tabled in the House, and hopefully that can be brought forward. I'm sure that is more sort of just an oversight, because as far as I'm aware, with the Consumer Council, they are quite diligent in terms of what they do. Just to share some of the impactful things that have happened, Honorable Speaker, they were alluded to somewhat by the Minister for Finance and Commerce and Business Development. One is digital scams, Honorable Speaker. When we took office, there was no visibility in terms of scams or scam watching, Honorable Speaker. And unfortunately, this government saw the emergence of the eBay scam. Out of that, the Consumer Council worked with the ministry, and we now have a very active monitoring of scams in the country. It's a inter-agency effort that involves the Reserve Bank of Fiji, FCCC, the police, the Consumer Council, the ministry, and other agencies to ensure that scams are managed as soon as they come to light. One of the things that we are hopeful of doing, Honorable Speaker, eventually, is the fact that our laws are not adequate in terms of the management of scams. And so hopefully in the not too distant future, Honorable Speaker, we will see laws come to the House that will actually give teeth to some of these agencies so we can shut down scams before they take foothold in our country. Honorable Speaker, I wanted to touch briefly on two other issues. One was touched on by the Honorable Minister for Finance, and that was e-ticketing. Consumer Council was very instrumental in actually raising the concerns when the e-ticketing was being rolled out. And actually it was through the initiatives that we created the task force that monitored the successful transition, if you like, to the current system. And the Consumer Council was very instrumental in monitoring that whole process successfully. The other item was right now there is a bit of a focus on food safety in this country, Honorable Speaker. And I have to say that through the Consumer Council, we have seen some of the food that we see that comes to Fiji is not fit for human consumption, Honorable Speaker. And that advocacy has come through the Consumer Council. There is work being done closely with the Ministry for Health to try and again tighten the laws. And I'm hopeful that that will come through to ensure that the people of Fiji are consuming high quality food. Finally, Honorable Speaker, something that just to, in terms of the tightening of the laws, one of the things the Consumer Council has been asking for is the ability to name and shame some of these abuses. And that is something I'm hopeful that certainly the ministry can take forward to actually, unless we call out these people for bad behavior, Honorable Speaker, they will continue to abuse the privileges that they have, and it's something that perhaps can be looked at closely by this side of the House and the other side of the House in the years to come. But however, Honorable Speaker, in totality, I commend the committee for their report and commend the Consumer Council and its leadership for continuing to advocate for the consumers and the people of Fiji. And I'm sure that they will continue to be a fundamental role in good governance and monitoring of the consumers' best interests in this country. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I thank the Honorable Kamikamica. I now invite the Leader of the Opposition, the Honorable Seri Ratu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir. I also would like to contribute on the motion that's on the floor concerning the consolidated review reports on the Consumer Council for the years 2019 and 20, 21 to 22, and 2022 to 2023. I also join the previous speakers in acknowledging the committee, the Standing Committee on Natural Resources, and also the to thank the board and the management of the Consumer Council of Fiji. As we all are aware, the Consumer Council of Fiji is an independent statutory body that was established under the Consumer Council Act of 1976. And the Council, as a watchdog, protects the rights of consumers by promoting a fair and just delivery of goods and services. We need to understand the 6 major rights of consumers, and the Honorable Kamikamiya has spoken about safety, particularly food safety. That is the first major right of consumers, the right to safety. I recall, Honorable Speaker, sir, in some of the previous disasters, food, both frozen and dry items, were condemned. But there were still some suppliers that were, despite this food being condemned by the appropriate authorities, it was still circulated on the shelves. So this practice is not good, and of course it affects the rights that the consumers have, the rights to safety. We have the rights to be informed, and I acknowledge the findings of the committee that there's a lot of awareness campaign made by the Consumer Council because we have the right to be informed, and additional to that, consumers also have the right to be educated, and therefore they can only know their rights and of course the structures in which they raise their complaints if there is a lot of awareness and education as well. They have the right to choose, the right to be heard, and of course the right to redress as well. As I've stated, they are only a watchdog, but they rely on other agencies. I recall during COVID, there was a sudden hike in prices, particularly for price control goods in certain areas around Vitilevu and of course Vanua-Levu as well. And they have to rely on other agencies, Honorable Speaker, sir. If I can just speak on one or two of the recommendations in the remaining time that I have. The committee recommends on 4.4 that the council continues to explore MOU with other agencies. This is very, very important, Honorable Speaker, sir, because they don't have the teeth. They are only the watchdog. And the MOU with the Ministry of Health, with the local government, even with NDMO. We have instances where foodstuff and other assistance packages were sent from, but we just have to condemn them because the language does not allow. We do not know what's the content, the expiry date, and so forth. So it's very, very important that they develop this working relationship with other agencies. And maybe just lastly, again, the Honorable Kamikamiya has raised issues that probably, if the committee can consider, reviewing the Act. It's a 1976 Act. Scam is a big issue. The issue on health. The Honorable Kamikamiya has talked about tightening the laws. And of course, scams, our laws are not sufficient to cover the scam issues probably. It's worth noting, probably for the future work of our committees, if we can also consider reviewing the Act, because this is a 1976 Act and a lot has progressed over the years. That's my short contribution, Honorable Speaker, sir. And once again, thank you to the committee, and I support the recommendations therein.
I thank the Leader of the Opposition, the Honorable Seri Ratu. I call next on the Minister, the Honorable Philemon Ivasarong.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to contribute to the motion before the House. I'd like to begin, Mr. Speaker, to thank the committee. And they have worked very hard. They have worked tirelessly throughout the course of this parliament sitting. They have been able to put away reports that have gathered dust on the desks. We've had to revive and resurrect some of those reports from the previous government's not handling and not bringing those reports to the House in time. They're now up to date with the reports. The Honourable Mr. Attorney have had to dig deep to clean the Attorney General's report from way back as 2010 or something like that. So we're very happy that this report, under the chairmanship of members of government, have been able to push these reports and make sure that they are promptly heard in the House, because that's what the public need from us. They need us to deal with the report. They want to hear about the reports. And so we are thankful to Honourable Vanawalu and his group and members of his committee for producing record time reports on these institutions. Mr. Speaker, consumer protection in Fiji, as we know, is governed by a very robust legal framework. There are a number of key legislations that go towards protection of consumer rights. We start with the Consumer Council Act of Fiji. That's a 1976 act. Again, as the Leader of Opposition has reminded the House, it's probably an act that needs to be relooked at, needs revision, and I'm sure that the minister responsible is going to be putting that as a matter of priority. But it was initially designed way back in 1976 to focus on promoting fair trade and consumer interests. But what happens, Mr. Speaker, is that that piece of legislation, all of its own, did not have enforcement powers. Now we have the Fiji Competition and Consumer Commission Act of 2010 that has come in, and in particular Part 8, the focus there is the prohibition of misleading advertisement, unsafe foods, unfair contracts, and prices in non-competitive markets. We also have the Fair Trading Act of 1992, the Hire Purchase Act of 1979, and this is usually one. And I'm sure the Honourable Speaker, you'll note most of the case laws that exist around contracts has been designed or arises out of the way in which contracts are written. It's always the devil is in the detail. It's a small print that has the most important information. And so these laws are the ones that highlight that and bring out so that when you are signing off something as a consumer, you know exactly what you're signing up into. Consumer Credit Act of 1999 also, Mr. Speaker, and now we have the addition in some respect of the Crimes Act of 2010 or 2009, and the Online Safety Act in some way of 2018 addresses fraud and cyber security issues surrounding consumer protection. We're happy, Mr. Speaker, that the committee has recognized that under the framework of the laws that regulate and protect consumer rights in Fiji, that it also aligns with the 8 global consumer rights that are promoted by the Consumers International. And I just want to run through in the next 29 seconds. So we have the right to safety, the right to information, right to choose, right to redress, right to satisfaction of basic needs, the right to be heard, right to consumer education, and a right to healthy environment. I'm happy, Mr. Speaker, that the report itself has highlighted the needs of this, and I'm sure that the minister concerned is going to consider and take on as a priority the revision. of the Consumer Council Act of 1976. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
I thank the Minister, the Honorable Wasarongo. I call on our last speaker on the motion, the Honorable Professor Biman Prasad.
I thank the chairman and the members of the committee for the report, and all those honorable members, including the Honorable Minister of Finance, who've spoken before me. I think, Mr. Speaker, all the speakers have underscored the point about the role of the Consumer Council of Fiji as an advocacy organization, organization that does market surveillance, looks at business practices, is kind of a watchdog and a voice of consumers. But more importantly, Mr. Speaker, the Consumer Council of Fiji is a very important policy engagement organization and advisory organization. And some of the things that they bring out as a result of what's happening and how the consumers are responding based on the experiences they have and the complaints that they make to the Consumer Council allows us, Mr. Speaker, to put in policies. For example, when we are formulating a budget, we're looking at taxes. We're looking at how the cost of living is translating into what the consumers are complaining and experiencing. So the role of the organization is extremely important, Mr. Speaker, in the bigger scheme of things. And as part of the National Development Plan, the role of the Consumer Council and the watchdog role and the surveillance role that it plays is extremely important in informing the government and the policy making. But one very important point that the consumers always complain about, of course, Mr. Speaker, is the information about prices, about the cost of living. And I want to make this point that it is upon us as honorable members, because I know some of my friends on the other side, they always keep talking about rising cost of living without actually looking at what the actual figures are. So if I just show you this graph, this is a graph of the Reserve Bank of Fiji, which shows the inflation trend from November 2024 to November 2025, Mr. Speaker, you can see a very clear trend which shows that the inflation rate has been on a decline of month to month over the last 12 months. And, Mr. Speaker, the annual average inflation rate is actually less than 1.5%. What this shows, Mr. Speaker, is that our policies, whether it's our tax policy, whether it's a reduction in the best bet in the last budget, whether it's to do with the reduction in the duty in the last 2 or 3 budgets, and the surveillance and the strict enforcement of those reductions in terms of the translation of those policies into prices is very important, Mr. Speaker. And let me just explain how this inflation rate is calculated. In fact, the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, Mr. Speaker, is made up of 12 major expenditure groups, and it includes about 900 individual items, which is surveyed every month. And the Bureau of Statistics then comes out with a CPI index, which is the cost of living index. And what it shows, compared to what's been the trend in many other countries, including Australia and New Zealand, where we import most of our stuff. So within the basket, within the CPI basket of 12 expenditure group items, you will always find that some prices will go up. So for example, in meat prices, cereal prices, if the wheat prices goes up in Australia or elsewhere where we import, then the bread prices would go up here. So it's not directly because of government policy, it's because of what happens in the other markets. So, but we are very pleased to see as a government that our CPI, I'm explaining this, Honorable Usumate, very, very clearly and carefully, and you are a statistician. You are a statistician. You understand how CPI is calculated. And so please don't go and lie out there to the people that the inflation rate is increasing under this government. It has not been increasing, Mr. Speaker say. It has been on the decline. This is the graph that all of you should read, and this is from the Reserve Bank and the CPI. With those few words, Mr. Speaker say, let me just remind the honourable members that let's be honest with our consumers, because they need to be very clear about what is the state of affairs and what the government policy is doing. I'm not saying that prices of some items have not gone up, some go up, some go down. But there are other factors that determine what is happening. So this is the graph that you can take this weekend.
One moment. Now I'll issue a yellow card. It's a yellow card to Honorable Usamate and to Honorable Maharaj. All right, you are excused from Parliament for 1.5 hours. You may take your leave now. Please proceed, Honourable Member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll finish with this. All I was saying is that the Consumer Council of Fiji also has a responsibility to actually put out the correct information in the advocacy, in the information, and in the public campaign about what is happening on the ground, what are the government policies, and why these policies can work in different ways. So, for example, a consumer complains about meat prices imported from New Zealand, when everybody knows that the rate of inflation in New Zealand is very high. Even if the duty here is zero, even if the VAT, if the item is VAT exempted, zero VAT, still the prices are going to go up, because where we are importing from, the prices are going up there. So that's what I was trying to explain, Mr. Speaker. With those few words, I want to thank the committee and endorse the report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I thank the Honourable Professor Prasad. I will now call on the Honourable Vanawalu, the chairperson of the Standing Committee, to speak in reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The Social Affairs Committee noted the positive contribution as well as the negative that have been heard in this House this afternoon. But honourable members, during the debate on this Consolidated Review Reports 2019-2023 Consumer Council of Fiji Annual Report. Mr. Speaker, sir, I take this opportunity to thank the board members, executive management and staff of Consumer Council of Fiji for their commitments, dedication, unwavering support, which have been instrumental to the successful operation of the Council. Mr. Speaker, sir, I humbly request the Consumer Council of Fiji for the successful implementation of the recommendation put forward by the committee. On that note, Mr. Speaker, sir, I support the motion before the House, and thank you, sir, for the opportunity.
I thank the Honourable Vanawalu. The Parliament will now vote to note the content of the report. Does any member oppose the motion? As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. Honourable members, I now call upon the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs, the Honourable Eliezer Vanawalu, to move the second motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I move that Parliament debates on the Consolidated Review Reports on the 2023-2024 Fiji National Provident Fund Annual Reports. It was tabled on the 5th of November 2025.
The seconder,
Honourable Speaker, I second the motion.
Honourable Viam Pillay. I now invite the chairperson of the Standing Committee to speak on his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The Fiji National Provident Fund is a defined contribution fund that provides superannuation service to its members. The operation of the fund is guided by the FNPF Act 2011. FNPF collect compulsory contribution from employees and employers towards the retirement saving of all workers in Fiji. The fund also provides pre-retirement benefits such as housing, medical, unemployment, funeral and education assistance to its members. Mr. Speaker, sir, the FNPF continues to play a pivotal role in safeguarding the retirement savings of all Fijians, with a total assets reaching to 10.6 billion as of June 2024. Of these, 8.1 billion belongs directly to the members. The fund now serves over 423,000 members, with 264,000 active contributors, 14,138 voluntary active contributing, and maintain a relationship with 8,488 active members. Despite the challenge posed by global economic conditions, particularly the lingering effect of the COVID-19 pandemic, the fund has maintained a strong investment portfolios. However, the committee noted that interest earned from government bond has remained stagnant since 2020 due to the high liquidity of the market. To address this, the committee recommends that government and the Reserve Bank of Fiji to facilitate each approval processes for the offshore investment, enabling greater diversification and improved returns. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee also acknowledged the ongoing review of the FNPF Act, aimed at aligning the fund's operation with modern business practices and evolving investment strategy. Hence, the committee recommends that this review continue with a robust public consultation and stakeholders' engagement to ensure the legislation reflects the needs of today's workforce. Mr. Speaker, sir, transparency remains a cornerstone of a public trust. The committee noted with concern that major investment decisions are not being adequately communicated to the public. We recommend that FNPF strengthen its communication mechanism, ensuring members are informed of significant investment decisions, including associated risks and benefits. The Speaker said, operationally, while the fund has expanded its service, the committee observed a need to strengthen cost control measures, particularly around consultancy fees and operational expenses, while committee recommends that FNPF enhance its financial efficiency while maintaining service quality deliveries to its members. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Social Affairs Committees look forward for the implementation and commitments of the recommendation put forward by the committee. And that note, Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you for the opportunity.
I thank the Chair of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs. Honourable members, the floor is now open for debate on the motion. I have a list of speakers with me. Each will be given 5 minutes to deliver his address. I first call on the Honourable Viampile.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to contribute to the debate on the Consolidated Review Report of the Fiji National Provident Fund, Annual Reports for 2023 to 2024. First, let me commend FNPF management team for providing a thorough overview of the fund's operations. The figures, 10.6 billion in total assets, the 8% interest credited, the return to a positive net contribution are indeed impressive. They reflect resilience and commitment, and we must acknowledge that FNPF continues to be the financial bedrock of this nation. However, Honorable Speaker, this institution cannot be judged solely by its balance sheet. We are talking about the people's money. Every dollar earned, invested, and spent belongs to the working men and women of Fiji. The entire purpose of this fund is not merely to generate a number on a page, but to provide a secure and dignified retirement for our citizens. This brings me to a critical paradox that lies at the heart of FNPF's investment strategy. FNPF is a majority shareholder or a significant investor in many of the largest, most crucial companies and properties in Fiji. Our telecommunications providers like Vodafone, our hospitality sector, including Intercontinental, Marriott, and the Westin, and even goods providers like Future Farms, trading as Rooster Poultry. FNPF member, Honorable Speaker, says the owner, the shareholder, and the ultimate beneficiary of these profitable entities. Yet, that very same FNPF member is also the consumer who has to pay the prices set by these businesses, prices for chicken, hotel rooms, mobile data, call rates, etc. We must ask, is the pursuit of maximum return by these FNPF-owned entities undermining the daily financial stability of the very people who own them? Are the profits being generated by setting prices so high that they erode the purchasing power of the members' present-day salaries? This Parliament has a moral obligation to ensure that FNPF's mandate is not just about financial return, but about social return. The board must balance its fiduciary duty to maximize member funds with the need to ensure that FNPF subsidiaries operate responsibly, contributing to affordability and the overall welfare of the nation. It should be a win-win, not a situation where the member's right pocket is being emptied to fill the fund's left pocket. Honorable Speaker, I turn now to the specific critical findings outlined in the committee's report, which demand immediate government intervention and FNPF accountability. Firstly, the finding on transparency is worrying. Major investment decisions, the fate of billions in member savings, the acquisition of properties like Lindahouse, or the significant cost escalation and the delays in the Westin redevelopment must be communicated clearly and proactively with full disclosures of the associated risks and returns. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, on the issue of performance, the FNPF correctly points out that returns from government bonds have been stagnant due to the market liquidity. The clear answer is offshore diversification. We cannot afford to have 90% of 10.6 billion fund constrained by the limited local economy. I strongly urge the government and the Reserve Bank of Fiji to heed the committee's recommendations and immediately streamline the approval process for offshore investment. This is not just a growth opportunity, it is a fundamental risk mitigation strategy. Thirdly, Honorable Speaker, we must address operational efficiency. The significant jump in the consultancy fees noted by the committee raises serious questions. While rebranding and project work are necessary, every expenditure must be scrutinized. We must ensure that the fund strengthens its internal capacity instead of perpetually relying on external consultants whose high fees directly cut into members' income. Finally, Honorable Speaker, the issue of healthcare Fiji concession agreement with Aspen Medical is paramount. My colleagues and I have raised concerns about this during the submission. While we support the vision of advanced healthcare infrastructure like the 305-bed hospital, the current ambiguity regarding the provision of essential services, particularly medicine, is unacceptable. The committee's recommendation is correct. FNPF board and the government must immediately finalize this agreement. With these few words, Honorable Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
I thank the Honorable William Pillay. I now call on the Minister of Finance, Honorable Emmanuel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I wish to thank the committee for the report for the 2023 and 24 annual reports. The fund remains steadfast in their objective to safeguard member savings and also deliver the best financial return for their retirement. Whilst doing this, the fund also recognizes that value to members must be holistic and includes quality of service, transparency, and the assurance they provide to members every day. The fund continues to look for ways to improve their processes and engagement with members to support and connect with them. Key highlights for 2023-24, some of which are already highlighted by Honorable Pillay. Total assets, 2023, 9.5 billion, 2024, 10.6, and the latest report of 2025 that was tabled last week, the assets increased to over 12 billion. So a 2 billion increase in a year. Net income, 775.8 million 2023 to 882 million 2024. Interest credited to members, 7% 2023, 2024, 8%, and we are all aware 2025 was 8.75. Membership increased from 405,865 in 2023 to 423,144 in 2024. And active employers as well increased from 8,003 in 2023 to 8,488 in 2024, which also shows the growth in the economy. Mr. Speaker, I will concentrate more on the 2024 key highlights and 23, some of which supports or provide solutions to the recommendations provided by the committee. FNPF launched a new retirement product, the members drawdown product, in January 2023. This product offers more flexibility to members by providing them with a monthly income and allowance for one withdrawal per financial year. They reviewed the education withdrawal policy to allow members to apply for professional development courses to improve their job prospects and to purchase laptops for those enrolled in studies. They've enhanced digital solutions and improved mobile app by adding Visa, MasterCard, and M-Pesa payment option for members and employees. And they've increased advocacy efforts with 356 nationwide campaigns, including workplace seminars, community outreach, and pop-up services in different areas in Fiji. So they are listening to the people of Fiji and especially the members. Key highlights for some of the key highlights 2024. Net return on investments increased to 8.5% from 8.3% in 2023. Starting September 2024, membership was extended to infants from birth to encourage early savings accumulation, aligning with the fund's goal to help members prepare for significant life events and retirement. A gift card initiative was also launched in July 2024 to allow members to give an amount to their loved ones. And also they've introduced a more fair and practical penalty system to encourage voluntary compliance and enhance contribution collections from employees. So the fund also achieved a customer satisfaction index score of 4.1% out of 5, indicating members' trust and confidence in the fund. This was an improvement from 3.97 in 2022. The survey was conducted independently with more than 10,000 survey respondents across different parts of Fiji. There are some challenges. The key one is the ongoing global uncertainties. The second is the investment in the bond market. However, the fund is working on the review of the FNPF Act, which I highlighted this week. And also they're working on the fund's investment diversification strategy to enhance return as well as strengthen the fund. Mr. Speaker, sir, there have been calls for transparency and inclusion of members in investment decisions. While the fund supports the need for transparency and accountability on investment decisions, the fund respectfully raises that this would compromise the fundamental governance principles that protect members' interests and ensure optimal investments outcome are more or less guaranteed for members. The fund remains committed to implement and enhance post-decision communication mechanism for members. Mr. Speaker, sir, the fund has done a lot for its members, and there are plans for better transparency and enhancement in the service they provide the members and intended members. Mr. Speaker, sir, I commend the board, FNPF management and staff of the fund for the hard efforts and perseverance during financial year ending. With all that being said, Mr. Speaker, I move that this House approve the consolidated review report of 2023 and 24 FNPF annual reports.
I thank the Minister, the Honourable Emmanuel. I next call on the Honourable Fire Esquire.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, at the outset, let me just commend the committee for this report on the 2023-2024 FNPF annual reports. I think the committee has actually come up with some really valuable recommendations, Honourable Speaker, sir. There are some things that need to be vented. I think most of the stuff has already actually been picked up by the Minister of Finance. But one of the things that we must remember, sir, this is a phenomenal institution. Began many, many years ago, and it has progressed quite well. But there is also probably time for some reform to be looked at for the institution as a whole, even though it is a superb class of investment in terms of our people who are actually a part and parcel of it. I think the findings of the committee are very important things that we must look at. And one of the things we must remember, we're looking at an asset portfolio, as mentioned, of about, for this particular year, 24, we're looking at 10.6 billion. And from what I gather from the Minister of Finance's just speech just now, I think we're reaching almost $12 billion at FNPF. And these are from not even 500,000 odd members. So if you look at it, it's quite phenomenal, and the crediting rate is actually at 8%, which is a 25-year high. So this is an institution that has performed well beyond expectations. And it also creates, this kind of institution creates an impact, and in the words of the chair in his report, it actually creates an impact on the local financial system, Mr. Speaker, sir. And in order for the FNPF to look at securing good investments, they're now going to have to start looking offshore. And so the recommendation that it be made a little easier for them to do it, and they have to look at how it can be done, is very, very important. I think the committee has recommended that we actually look at that. And also, one of the things that, one of the important things that actually stands out is the recommendation with respect to the investments that FNPF actually made. I think it was just mentioned by Honourable Biampile about two investments that were made, and one was Lyndhurst, and the other one was the Western Redevelopment Project. Now, like anything, sir, all investments that FNPF have been made are actually quite good. They give great returns, but there is one which is worrying. I had raised this earlier with respect to the Western investment. It's in the tourism industry. It gives phenomenal returns. But when you start investing into that particular industry, the ethics involved in it are quite important. And there are ethical considerations when you're actually owner and also doing the owner of part of the construction company at the same time. I had raised this. This raises huge concerns. Effectively, sir, what will happen is if tomorrow there is an issue, and I know there already is, then the FNPF will be suing its own company. Where do you draw the line? How does that work? There needs to be some kind of inquiry into why did we get into that space, or how is it that that came about, or how is it that it is protected? These are the questions that need to be asked and need to be aired, Honourable Speaker, sir, because it's very important. You cannot have or put yourself in that particular position, especially with the likes of such a huge project like the Western itself, which is in huge demand. It's in huge demand. It's a well-known tourism brand. And as the Minister for Tourism will tell you, we actually need those rooms like yesterday in order to increase the tourism portfolio. So on the stop on the project, there are questions to be asked that why has that happened, but why did we get ourselves into that position in the first place? It should never have happened, Honourable Speaker. I know the answer that was given by the Honourable Minister of Finance earlier on was that, oh, it's like a bit of an uncle and a nephew thing. It doesn't work like that. It's very important that we find out how and why that actually transpired. That's the only blip on the radar from my perspective, on our perspective, Honourable Speaker. And I think otherwise, the credibility and the transparency involved in making these investments are quite good. This may be something that just fell off the rails just for a little bit. But all in all, I think when the fund is aligned with its long-term objectives and getting measurable returns, it's important that we strengthen the oversight with respect to our FNPF investments. All in all, sir, and I think it's also commendable that the government has actually allowed some of us to invest back in the FNPF because of massive returns that it actually gives. And it's a great place to keep your money as it's safe, and it also gives you a phenomenal return. I thank you, Honourable Speaker, and I commend the report, sir.
I thank the Honourable Koya. I now call on the Assistant Minister, Honourable Tumbuna.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I rise to contribute on the debate on the consolidated review report on the 2023 and 2024 annual reports of the Fiji National Provident Fund, as tabled by the Standing Committee on Social Affairs. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to commend the committee for its scrutiny of the fund's operations over the 2 reporting years. Mr. Speaker, sir, the findings are clear. FNPF continues to grow and continues to stabilize the economy and continues to stand as the most important financial institution for the working people of Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, today's debate is not merely about the financial statements. It's about the trust in the institution that safeguards the retirement savings of over 423,000 Fijians. It's a trust in the governance of the fund that now holds 10.6 billion in assets, and a trust in a system that must continue to evolve with a changing world. Mr. Speaker, sir, the report highlights that FNPF investment portfolio has grew from 9.4 billion in 2023 to 10.6 billion in 2024. This is a significant achievement, Mr. Speaker, sir, given the global financial pressures, inflationary challenges, and the aftershocks of the pandemic. Mr. Speaker, sir, I just wish to highlight this afternoon the important role that FNPF can play in addressing national poverty. Mr. Speaker, sir, in his speech on 14th July 2025, the Honourable Prime Minister has highlighted what the country has to do in order to address this issue of poverty. And one of the areas that he has highlighted is that the economic ground is undulating. The opportunities are unequal, and the systems are cumbersome. We need new legislations that needs to be validated or repealed that starts from the parent law. We need more involvement of the Itoke. And Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to highlight this afternoon the issue on how FNPF can invigorate the business for the indigenous people of this country. This is not a racism, Mr. Speaker, sir. This is not a practical fact. 80% of the land is owned by Toki. 75% of the indigenous people are under poverty. And we had heard from issue. We have heard from the Prime Minister when he spoke of significant funds that are going into the Toki population, but we have not seen the outcome. 100 million annually from ITIL TB. Majority of the remittance are going to the Toki, almost 1 billion. And of course, the wages that are going to the general population. What I need to say, Mr. Speaker, sir, what is the role of FNPF? We need to get for Itoke to be involved in commercial business. There should be a new policy developed by FNPF board to have new medium enterprises with a threshold of 10 million. There was someone that went to FNPF to ask for some business opportunities, and they were told that the threshold was 30 million. So we need to inform them that they should be looking at the practical realities on the ground. How can we invigorate businesses, medium businesses with a threshold of 5 million? Of course, FNPF has to undertake its scrutiny of all the proposals. It has to be bankable project, Mr. Speaker, sir. And they have to scrutinize all the proposals that come to them and ensuring that these are bankable projects, and they have to put in their expertise in analyzing these projects. I also welcome the initiative by the board to change the act. I think it's quite important that they also need to amend the act so that it is in line with the best practices that is being adopted in other countries, and they need to take that into account. I support this report, Mr. Speaker, sir, and I would like to commend the committee for the report that they have produced. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank the Honourable Tumbuna. I will now call on the Honourable Mbala for his contribution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Speaker, sir, I rise to contribute on the motion that is before us. Mr. Speaker, sir, what emerges from the report and the mounting public commentary is not a picture of best, but of concern in some areas. Mr. Speaker, sir, there is about 11 recommendations, and I'll briefly touch on 2 important recommendations. Mr. Speaker, sir, let us be frank. The fund has failed in some areas in its core duty to its contributors, the Fiji workers and their families. The review confirms, Mr. Speaker, sir, what many have suspected. Major investment decisions were made without adequate transparency or consultation with members. Moreover, Mr. Speaker, sir, what we are seeing today is not best of our national retirement savings, but a pattern of risky investment in commercial property and hotel assets that threatens the very security of contributors. Let us consider a glaring example, the West End project. My colleagues have spoken on that. The consolidated review report has stated that major investment is a change of hands that created this. The consolidated review report has stated that major investment decisions undertaken by FNPF are not being normally communicated to the public, limiting stakeholders' awareness. For example, as stated earlier on, Mr. Speaker said, the Westin Resort in Denrau, once one of the crown jewels of the tourism property portfolio. We went there for a visit, Mr. Speaker said, the committee. At the first place, when we saw, in fact, we were stopped at the first instant to the committee that we cannot enter. We had to wait for half an hour. Can you people listen? It's not only for us to listen. You people will have to listen as well. Yeah. Yeah. Okay? Yeah, don't laugh. Nothing funny.
Speak to the chair.
For example, the Westin Resort on Denrau, once one of the crown jewels of the tourism property portfolio, at the redevelopment renovation works was recently stopped because of the contractual dispute, Mr. Speaker, sir. Given this, there is a serious risk of the fund. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to request the line minister if he could reveal the findings and recommendation from the special independent audit that was completed last month. I thought that the minister will reveal something in his speech. Unfortunately, he has not, but I hope that in future sittings he will, because that will reveal all that has happened there, this report, independent report. Mr. Speaker said this should also be made public. Mr. Speaker said, a lot has been said about this triple P, the public-private partnership. Some members used to criticize this initiative, in particular, Honorable Biman Prasad, that by the previous government, which has been now reaping the benefits. Mr. Speaker said, Aspen Medical Fiji has conducted around 310 heart surgeries and around 483 cath lab procedures, that is angiogram, free of charge. Mr. Speaker said, in October 2025, in fact, for any hospitals across the Pacific, Aspen Medical managed Bar Hospital was officially earned the gold seal of approval from the Joint Commission Independent, a globally recognized symbol of quality that reflects an organization's commitment to meeting international standards for patient safety and quality of care. So that partnership was correct, Mr. Speaker said. Mr. Speaker said, JCI is awarded to healthcare organizations that demonstrate continuous compliance with evidence-based standards spanning clinical care, patient safety, leadership, and facility management. Mr. Speaker said in previous sittings, some members also criticized that the due diligence was not followed when the triple P commenced. But FNPF management has confirmed and revealed to the committee that the due diligence was followed, and this was done through engagement of a specialized consultant in that area, which was, as I mentioned earlier on, by the management. Mr. Speaker said, the committee's recommendation 4.8, which states the FNPF must immediately finalize the concession agreement with Healthcare Fiji Limited to ensure that the public is not affected. Mr. Speaker said, if the minister can also inform how much has been spent for clearing a grass cutting at the FNPF land in Nasese. I'm told that around 400,000 has been spent, and I stand to be corrected, but I hope the minister will come up with the figures. Mr. Speaker said, I re-emphasize recommendation 4.5 on ensuring accountability and transparency in unnecessary operational expenses. There has been an increase, Mr. Speaker said, in the consultancy fee from 300,000 to 1.5 million. This is huge, Mr. Speaker said. Mr. Speaker said, you don't have to know. Mr. Speaker said, I thank you for this opportunity.
I thank the Honorable Bala. I will now invite our last speaker, the Honorable Professor Prasad.
Mr. Speaker, say, I'm actually quite amused by the last honourable member's contribution, and in particular, in particular with respect to Aspen Medical. And Honorable Bala knows that in the second budget, I spent, Mr. Speaker, say about close to 15 minutes to actually explain how Aspen Medical, how Lotoka and Bar Hospital were handed over to that company. FNPF was forced into that agreement by the Fiji First government.
Shameful.
And it is this government, when we came in, Mr. Speaker, he was talking about free treatment. Not a single patient that enters Lotoka and Bar Hospital gets a free treatment by Aspen or FNPF. Every single cent is paid by the government. And it is this government, Mr. Speaker, say, that actually got to the point to look at how this agreement was done. We actually handed the hospitals to a company without them actually meeting any of the concession conditions. So we were landed with a situation where we, first of all, we did three things. One, we made sure that HCF, in partnership with FNPF and Aspen, improve the services. So if you go to Bar and Lotoka hospitals now, if you go and look at the equipment that they have now, if you look at the accreditation that they've got, they have got all those and the improvements they've made under this government, under the work that a committee supported by independent consultants. We actually got an audit done. We don't want to reveal what was there because we are still negotiating the final agreement and we are on the verge of getting that done. So, Mr. Speaker, say Honorable Bala has actually forgotten, how that was done. The other PPP that he talked about, again, we landed with that issue. It was a COVID measure, we understood that. But it continued to flourish and government kept on paying every single cent. And we finally got a handle on it. We put in a cap there, we've got a means test, so we are able to control that. So that's just on Aspen, Mr. Speaker, say. Let me just get back to some of the investments. Yes, we understand that sometimes investments go wrong. And FNPF is a very, very large entity. It is this government, Mr. Speaker, say that actually we have now ensured that the FNPF has an independent investment committee made up of experts, and that committee is going to support the decision by the FNPF investment committee and the board to actually look at that. Westin, Honorable Bala knows, this is a hotel that was closed during COVID. That the FNPF and this government inherited. There were issues with respect to how the project was managed, but that's, as he said quite rightly, there is an independent report, investigation as to where the lapses were, and we are told very clearly that there were lapses, but the investment is up to date. Once it's completed, it will provide the right return to FNPF. And I know the Honorable Minister of Finance and other members have talked about. In fact, FNPF in the last 2 years, post-COVID, it's a member-driven fund. It is a fund where members contribute. It doesn't just come from a tree or somewhere. It's something that they contribute. The investments are made. The interest is paid. But it is a large financial institution. It has concentration, risk of investment. There are governance issues, transparency and accountability. There is pressure on liquidity, low balances for a large percentage of our people, regulations, intergenerational equity. These are issues that any large super fund, Mr. Speaker, say, will always have to take into account. And honorable members on the other side also forgot how FNPF reform, 2011 reform was done unilaterally. It is this government that actually gave some reprieve to the pensioners by making sure that those whose pension was reduced, government took on the responsibility instead of putting the responsibility to the FNPF, and the laws, the act that was made as part of the 2013 constitution cannot be changed, and the decision cannot be reversed. So government took the responsibility, about $4 million per year, Mr. Speaker, say, to compensate those pensioners who had abruptly lost their share of pension. So, Mr. Speaker, say I don't have a lot of time.
You don't have any more time.
But I'm already over time, but there are a lot of issues that I could have responded, which was not relayed very carefully by the report. And I think the committee, and some members of the committee kind of hijacked, what was supposed to be clearly reflected in the report. And that's not fair, Mr. Speaker, say. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. I will now call on the chairperson of the standing committee to speak in reply.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. The Social Committee noted the constructive as well as destructive contribution made by the honorable members in this august House. During this debate on the Consolidated Review Reports 2023-2024, Fiji National Provident Fund's Annual Report. Mr. Speaker, sir, I take this opportunity to thank the board members, the executive management and staff of Fiji National Provident Fund for their commitments, dedication, and unwavering support, which have been instrumental to the successful operation of the fund. The Speaker, sir, I humbly request Fiji National Provident Fund for the successful implementation of the recommendation put forward by the committee. On that note, sir, I support the motion before the House, and thank you, sir.
Thank you. The Parliament will now vote to note the content of the report. Does any member oppose the motion? As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. Honourable members, I intend to take a break a bit earlier today. We still have a few more items on our order paper to deal with, but given the hour, I will now entertain a suspension motion. For purposes of complying with the standing orders with respect to sitting times, and I'll call upon the Leader of the Government in Parliament, the Honourable Rofili Pethusoau, to move a suspension motion.
Speaker, I move under Standing Order 6 that so much of Standing Order 23-1 is suspended, so as to allow the House to sit beyond 4:30 p.m. today to complete the remaining items listed in today's order paper.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Honorable Speaker, I second the motion.
Thank you, Honourable Mbanivalu. I now call on the Leader of the Government in Parliament to speak on his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have 4 important reports. PGOAs, Port Authority of Fiji, Auditor General, and also the General Election Report for 2022.
Thank you, Honourable Members. The floor is now open for debate on the motion, if any. I don't see any. So I now call on the Leader of the Government in Parliament to speak in reply, if any.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I do not have any further comments.
Thank you. The Parliament will now vote. The question is that under Standing Order 6, that so much of Standing Order 23, Clause 1 is suspended, so as to allow the House to sit beyond 4:30 p.m. today to complete the remaining items listed on today's order paper. Does any member oppose the motion? As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. Honorable members, we will now suspend the proceedings for a break. Parliament will resume in half an hour.